Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, we got a few things, man. We're going to tap in with Brian Maxwell, Brandon Lehman, and RJTalksTv to talk about the national security threat that was in Texas, the Jabademic. We're going to talk about Ilhan Omar and how she possibly can get denaturalized and get her citizenship revoked, which I think she should, to be honest with you. And that's because we already have Americans who are against the system, against, things that I understand to a degree, but you're American. It's one thing to be American and not like the system, not like things that are going on, don't like the president at the time, whatever the case may be. But when you're a foreigner, when you're a refugee, and you get citizenship in America, you get the right to have the American dream, and pretty much the whole time you're here, you're soaking up resources, you're scamming, you're sending money back to your country, you're constantly saying, talking about America in a way that isn't beneficial at all. And I think it's fair to, at the minimum, get these people who are not American-born citizens at least out of the government, at minimum. But Trump not playing with this whole deportation situation. He's taking this very serious. A military officer got killed, and one is in critical condition. This is very serious on many levels. So he has every right to feel how he feels about the people that are in this country, that Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, his whole administration, Jill Biden, I hold all of them accountable that were in his administration. They all have a lot of blood on their hands between all the illegal immigrants who committed heinous crimes in this country, who committed not as severe crimes, but, kept getting let out of prison, jail, and all of these just things that are going on. Like I said before, the United States of America already has its own problems. We don't need illegals coming here and causing more problems. But this is what the Democratic Party wants. So before we start, make sure you like, share, comment. Also subscribe to the channel. That's the only way you're going to help your boy grow and your boy trying to get monetized. So hit that subscribe button if you are not subscribed to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell and make sure you select all so you get notified every time your boy go live. Let's get it. So first we're going to tap in with Brandon Lehman. Lehman. And we're going to see what's going on with Ilhan Omar. She's on the hot seat, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we finally got the news we have all been waiting for. Somali welfare queen Ilhan Omar's time in the United States is officially coming to an end, and it can't happen quick enough. Donald Trump dropped a Thanksgiving Truth Social post revealing that his Somali fatigue has officially boiled over, and he is going further than just deporting Somalis illegally present in Minnesota. He is beginning the denaturalization process for Somali U.S. citizens that are enemies of the country. And he specified by name that the first person on his chopping block is none other than Ilhan Omar. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys watch this one till the end. But let's start with Ilhan Omar at a Somali conference in Minnesota calling the president of Somalia her president.
caawa aan fursad u helay madaxweynaha Soomaaliya madaxweyne.
Like, but just look at this though, just off the rip. Like, how disrespectful do you gotta be to seek refuge in America from the very country that who knows what was going on when she was there? But you came here, we welcomed you with open arms. You're not only were you welcome, you were able to work your way out to be a congresswoman. So you're in politics. And this woman literally is doing everything she's doing in America to benefit Somalians, man. It's not surprising, though, to be honest with you.
Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud inaan maanta ku soo dhaweyno Minneapolis. Aniga iyo madaxweynaha special relationship aan qabnaa. Aniga adeeraan ugu wacaa asigana gabarteeyu idhahaa. Madaxweyne sidii qof kasta uu yiri mininkaaga waaye ku soo dhawow Minneapolis. aad iyo aad aan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta madaxweynaheena aad tahay. Soomaaliya dadka meeshaan wada joogo dhan waa gurigooda, annaga ma dareensannihin in ay naga tahay meel naga fog. Soomaaliya wadnaheenay ku nooshahay, qalbigeenay ku jirtaa, maalin kasta aan ka fikirnaa Soomaaliya.
So at this point, you guys know I love to start these videos with some insane clip of Ilhan Omar, a sitting United States congressperson, declaring her allegiance to Somalia in one form or another. And I'm able to do that because there's so many. She's so open about it. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say the Somali diaspora in Minnesota sees themselves as a satellite state of Somalia. That's why she called the president of Somalia our president. That's why she said, welcome to your home in Minnesota, because they see Minnesota as some far-off province of Somalia. Yeah. There has never been a country on God's green earth that has been more welcoming to immigrants than the United States. And that only works if the citizens don't feel like their kindness is being taken advantage of, and the people coming here are making a concerted effort to assimilate and integrate into the society and culture. But as we know, the Somali community is not doing that. In fact, they are forcing the residents of Minneapolis to assimilate and accept their way of life and their...
Yeah, and see, that's something...
Millionaire thoughts.
Oh, damn, I ain't do that in so long. My bad. Anyway, that's something that I don't agree with. Listen, when you're a Muslim or any religion for that matter, right? When you come to a country that's, most people are Christian, listen, your religion is in your home. You can't come to that country and try to push your belief systems on, another country. That doesn't even make sense. Now, to do it that's why you have, in America, you got mosques, you got temples, you got churches, you got Catholic churches and all of these different things because people have these places to worship and do things like that. Your culture is in your home. You know what I'm saying? But it's a whole nother thing when you're trying to, like what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. I'm Muslim, but at the same time, I don't respect a lot of the things that are going on there because they're trying to change the culture of the country. And it's supposed to be the opposite, not in the sense of changing your religion, but in the sense you have to adapt. Americans don't have to adapt. You came to America. It's a difference. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just like an American going to Dubai or going to Afghanistan and these Middle Eastern countries and going there and disrespecting their culture. You feel what I'm saying? You won't be able to do that. You can't do that. They have laws. Just like America has laws, and you have to abide by them laws regardless of your religion. You have to abide by them laws. That's law. You know what I mean? So that's what I say about, when people be trying to put certain things on people, that's not everybody, bro. That's not everybody. Like you have people like my brother Uthman Ibn Farouk out in San Diego. You know, he's well known on the internet. He's been giving dawah for years, and a lot of people like him, respect him. But if you watch him, he's from San Diego. You know what I mean? But he's Muslim. Every Sunday he goes out, he gives dawah in his neighborhood. I forget where he said it's at, but I know it's in San Diego. People come up to him, ask him questions, debate him about Islam and things like that. He's not going around trying to, you know, force the religion on people. People come up to him, they ask him questions, he gives them the answers. If they want to take their shot, they take their shot. If they don't, they don't. That's how it's supposed to work. Forcing it on anybody, and that's a whole nother conversation. That's not Islam. That's not any other religion for that matter. You know what I'm saying? But you have them type of things that go on. And what Ilhan Omar is doing, to come back to the point, she's trying to make Minnesota like a Somalian country, pretty much. She's trying to make it Somalia.
Culture. And they're scamming the taxpayer to the tune of billions of dollars from programs that are intended to help the children of Minnesota. So they're not doing either of the things required to make immigration work. It's like leaving a candy bowl out on Halloween only works if everyone...
We got a comment from Kateska7. Children are forced to practice Islam in school. An alarming update of what's happening in Florida. Melanie King. Where in Florida? I highly doubt that. I don't even think now. In Dearborn, I can see it because there's a lot of Muslims out there. They probably have a whole Muslim community, so they probably got Muslim schools out there. But forcing, they're lying. That's a lie. Nobody would force. Now look, like I said, and I'll say this again, you have extreme religions, period. Christianity, people can argue all day and say, oh, Islam, they do this, they kill, they do this. Bro, Christians been killing, and they literally stole America off of killing. I'm here, I love America though. So everybody has, one of them has a rough history. That's America. That's the world. Unfortunately, that's a mankind. So you could go tit for tat and say, oh, well, they did this and they did this. And there's extreme Jews right now in Israel. There's extreme Christians right here in America. There's extreme Muslims. There's extreme everybody. But I wouldn't sit there and say every Christian is bad or every Christian is extreme, but that's what Americans do about Islam because that's what they put in the media. And for years, since 9/11, even though I don't think Muslims had anything to do with 9/11, to be honest with you, they just wanted to go in that Muslim country and do whatever they was doing in that country. And come on, that's why I'm just not delusional. Like, I'm not, come on, bro. We all privy to the information. Now, whether you care or not because you're Christian, that's cool. But don't be, picky choosy about what you care about. Just because you're Christian don't mean that Americans aren't going over to these Muslim countries and these Jews aren't going to these Muslim countries and doing bullshit, because they are. You can say what you want, but it's a fact. And that's why Muslims hate America. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, bro, that's extreme. You talking about extreme Muslims. There's clips out there. There's people who were former extremists, allegedly, who made comments about these things. It's a difference, bro. Everybody, it's people that use the Bible. They use the Bible and do malicious things on behalf of Jesus Christ. It's the same thing, bro. But I don't believe. I'll look into it, though. But I doubt it. If in America, that's impossible. It's impossible to force any school in this country. You got laws in America. They don't follow Sharia law in this country.
one respects the take two pieces rule. But despite taking advantage of our generous and welcoming nature, Ilhan Omar still disdains the United States and laments us at every opportunity for being racist and bigoted and Islamophobic, while refusing to leave and go back to Somalia, while also proclaiming Somalia is her home and the greatest place on planet Earth. And Donald Trump has finally come to his senses and is saying Ilhan Omar needs to be denaturalized and deported. Take a look at this.
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them. They're not good countries.
Yo, real quick. Sorry to cut this off. We won't get back to it. But, you know, like people just be saying anything. Now, just with a quick Google search, right? I typed in schools in Florida forcing schools in Florida to teach Islam. There are no law in Florida that forces public schools to teach Islam. Public schools may teach about religion, including Islam, with a secular historical context as a part of social studies or civics, but cannot promote any religion. So, like, that's common sense.
Don't
believe
they're
everything you hear.
very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
And I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
That's a fact. That's a fact. It's illegal, I think. But even if it is weird. Like, that gotta be some type of. She broke some type of law with that one. Like, and if that's been, I've been heard that like that's not even like a rumor. I believe that she really did that for him to get his citizenship. So at minimum, he should definitely be deported, her brother, and she should be deported just off of GP that you broke a law in order to get your brother here.
Please smash the like button if you guys enjoyed that. I don't know about you guys, but the denaturalization and deportation of immigrants in our government who openly disdain our country and are trying to destroy it from within is possibly the most vital action that needs to happen to save our republic. And one of the things I desperately want to see during Trump's second administration. We can no longer be shackled by the condescending and meaningless name calling from the left, silencing any legitimate concern and discussion about this problem by being called a racist or a bigot or intolerant. We are not wrong for having serious trepidation of people who are not from this country, who chose to come here electively, chose to become citizens, chose to run for elected office, and only have negative things to say about our culture, our history, our traditions, our values. And instead of just leaving and going somewhere that you feel is more accepting and inclusive, they instead want to take the country in a direction that is completely antithetical to our way of life, to our values, to our constitutional freedom and liberties, and enact the same kind of ridiculous and socially destabilizing policies that made their home countries unlivable. But let's take a look at this Thanksgiving post from Donald Trump that really hammers in the point that he is not playing around. This is just an excerpt, but you'll get the point. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congresswoman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the United States illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country. By the way, I'm going to be dropping a video either later today or tomorrow exposing Governor Tim Walz for being complicit in the billion-dollar Somali welfare fraud scam. Anyway, she does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated when her place of origin is decadent, backwards in a crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the US system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden's illegal admissions, including those signed by sleepy Joe Biden's autopin, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign natural who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization.
Hey, yo, I fuck with everything he said, to be honest with you. I think, shout out to Brandon Lehman too, man. Make sure y'all go tap in with him if y'all not tapped in. Definitely dope content creator. Donald Trump is right, though. And I think that's the best thing to do, because you just don't know how many people are in this country, let alone what types of people. You know, they have a roundabout, and I seen the video, maybe I'll play it tomorrow, actually, about Devori Dargins. He went to this whole thing and how we just don't know who these people are, and they might even have known a lot of people, but they still let them in anyway. So this is a it's a national security risk, no matter how you try to paint this, bro. And it just kills me, man. It really does. It really kills me, the fact that people are so programmed and brainwashed that they can't even see the play. Like, it's just a simple play, bro. Come on. They let all of these people into the country. Listen, before last election, not this one, the last one, right? Before this election, when have you ever walked into vote and it said no ID, like where they put a paper up and said no ID required? Like, they let it be, you don't need no ID. Like, come on, bro. It's obvious the play is weak. You know what I mean? They seen it a mile away. Like, they wanted a new voter base. It's simple, bro. Why else would you let that many people? It's one thing to let a few thousand people in here, you know, they need some help, whatever the case may be, right? Refugees, however you want to put it. But to let millions, come on, stop, bro. It's you can't sustain that type of you can't. Like, what? You know how much resources that is? We talking about billions on top of billions on top of billions of dollars wasted at that, because these are resources that could have been going to American families, bro. Period. I just don't see what people see. You know what I mean? I don't see it, bro. You know what I mean? And nobody was everything that people are bitching about, that I see them bitching about, they weren't doing it when Joe Biden was in office, even though he was ruining the country. He's the reason why the rent high, groceries high, gas high, everything is high. I heard nobody complain until Trump came. Soon as Trump came in, oh man, yo, shit high as hell, bro. Like, yo, I pay hella money on Amazon. Like, everything. They just want to complain about Trump. But Joe Biden got us in this. And you got all of these people in here. It's a national security risk. Hella resources being wasted on getting them out of the country. Like, come on, bro. And then on top of all that, you got all these USAID scams, these Somalian scams now. People defrauding every department in the government. The politicians defrauding all of these departments. You know what I mean? Inside trade. It's just so much corruption. You can't even put a number on it. It's probably trillions of our money at that. And we love it. We love getting fucked. We love it. People love this shit, bro. It's crazy. Like, yo, it's serious. Yo, look at this, right? I talk about real issues that's going on right now, right? I keep it real. I tell people all the time, bro, I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I lean towards Republican. I voted Republican this past election, but I would gladly vote a Democrat in if they were somebody I align with. Facts. Like, whether you're a Republican or Democrat means nothing to me. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But I be going over real shit, right? And then I got people sending me shit like this. Somebody, a family member of mine sent this to me, and it just doesn't mean nothing. Like, you know what I mean? They sent this to me. Look at this. This shit is stupid. I don't understand. It's this, the guy Willie D. And I want to get to this part. It's just this dude. This is how gone people is, bro. It's actually crazy. Look at this.
Saying it's okay to have swastikas and fucking nooses. Let's go, baby. Hell yeah. Well. I'm here representing the fucking wrath of my ancestors. Look where the fucking country is at. How far has America fallen? Fucking pedophiles in office. Boys who took a shit in the halls of Congress. And the most racist fucking president in history. Talking shit about black liberation. Motherfucking fake ass patriots on Facebook. Calling me a motherfucking nigger after I served this country for 22 years, 11 months and 4 days. 5 operational deployments. Cuba, 95. Bosnia, 96. Kosovo, 99. Hey, Pete, Whiskey Leaks Hexap, I didn't see you here. Iraq, Afghanistan, 2013. Scam Bondi, I didn't see you here. You motherfuckers about to see the wrath. You can't do shit without black people.
Now look. All I hear, now look, some black people may like this. It riles them up. Bro, to me, that's called degenerate. He's just a token nigga. He just a nigga that happened to have, he served the country. Respects to you, bro. I appreciate you for your service. I wouldn't disrespect him for that. But to me, you're a token nigga. You a nigga that got paid to get up here and spew a bunch of dumb shit. Nothing he said made sense. None of it is true. None of it. Everything he said was all lies, right? But black people, they love that shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why white people fed up with black people. Because the niggas like that. Get up here, just keep pushing this whole racism. The only people pushing racism in America right now is black people and Democrats. Facts. I don't care what you say. They the only ones that's pushing the bullshit. White people ain't worrying about black people. Yo, white people wake up and struggle and go through life just like black people do. And that's the reason why anytime you hear a black nigga like D.L. Hughley, Charlemagne, and fucking Roland Martin, Al Sharpton, anytime you hear any of these niggas, right, they always got to bring up the past. Because they don't want to accept the fact that you're not going through the same things that your ancestors went through. Notice he said, I'm doing this on behalf of the wrath of my ancestors. You got to go back. You got to go back just to feel some type of, like, bro, you can't relate, bro. Niggas like that make me mad. You make me mad because you're just a token nigga, bro. You know what I mean? And I hate to see stuff like that. You know what I mean? You serve the country, cool. And do I agree with how veterans are being treated and stuff like that? No. But, bro, you got to take a look in the mirror and look at your own party. Why you ain't have, when I see that, all I see is, why you ain't have that same energy for Barack Obama? Barack Obama ain't do shit for you, nigga. He ain't do nothing for you. Donald Trump did. Donald Trump had the First Step Act. Got people out of jail. He didn't motherfucking he didn't got hella people out of jail. You know what I'm saying? The platinum plan, things that directly benefit black people. Long-term funding the HBCU so they ain't have to come up there every single year begging for money. Donald Trump has did way more for black people than Barack Obama has ever done. Barack Obama, when he was asked, why don't you do something specifically for black folks? He said, that's not how America works. Like, get the fuck out of here. Niggas like that, bro, I can't respect. So when people hit my phone with these weak-ass texts, right, but don't want to debate, don't want to have no real conversation because they don't want to hear the truth that the party that you're a slave to, and I'm sorry that I'm going on this rant, but it'd be really pissing me off. the party that you're a slave to never liked you. They never liked you. All they cared about was your vote. They used you since day one. They never liked you. But dog, Republicans freed the slaves. Republicans, white Republicans, fought in a war for you to be free, right? Also, black people voted Republican. All of these, tell me how Welfare Act benefit black people. Doesn't. Who started that? Democrats. Affirmative action. Tell me how that benefits black people. It doesn't. It doesn't. It lowers the standards. It's like we're not intellectual. Black people are smart, gifted, just like any other race of people. But they want to keep telling you, you dumb, you's a dumb nigga, you don't understand, you can't afford an ID, you can't afford a laptop, you can't afford like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Democrats has been using you for decades, and you just a dummy. Should just be making me mad, bro. Anyway, on to the next story, bro.
December 1st, and we have a big show, a major Oval Office address we're hearing happening today on Venezuela. Also, all asylum decisions have been paused, effective immediately and indefinitely after another Afghan national who entered the country under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome tries bombing the Texas Fort Worth area. What is happening? And Tim Walz in the hot seat, everybody turning on the governor, and for good reason.
Yo, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not
speaking
subscribed.
to Venezuelan
right
President
back.
Nicolas Maduro and reportedly giving him a stern ultimatum, leave the country or else. But as far as potential military action against the South American country, Trump is keeping his cards close to the vest.
We consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They send millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, from all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problems.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
President Trump confirming last night that he has spoken with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, saying, I don't want to comment on it, but the answer is yes. Now, we've been trying to get more info about this call for days. Everybody has been super quiet about what happened on this phone call. What we know is the call did happen. Trump confirmed it. And Trump gave Maduro this ultimatum: step down from power immediately, resign, and we'll guarantee you and your family safe passage out of Venezuela. This is your one chance to exit peacefully. We reported that to you on Saturday, but since then, we've also learned that Maduro wasn't opposed to the idea, that he responded with two requests. First, that Trump give him a little more time to step down, to come up with this face-saving way to step down from power, and two, that he revoke political power, step down as president, but keep control over the Venezuelan military. Something that's not going to happen. Trump flat out rejecting that. A second call, though, was supposed to happen this weekend, but didn't. We've been led to believe that Maduro just skipped out on the call, just stopped communicating entirely. And since then, now Trump is saying he has a national address about Venezuela that's supposed to happen at 5 p.m. today. And look, as we know, the primary goal here is regime change, but there are a ton of downside benefits should Maduro step down, especially if he does so peacefully. If Trump can pull this off without firing a single shot, all he's doing is just doing it diplomatically with wielding real American power, including a mass reverse migration effect. Get this, there are 8 million Venezuelans in exile, 8 million. If they could return home, that's a lot of people. On top of that, there's a massive economic benefit, obviously, to removing Maduro, putting someone in place like Maria Machado. That's what the United States wants to do. And D.C. no longer beating around the bush here about the drug angle. Both sides of the aisle appearing to agree that Maduro has to go. And look, you could say what you want about this. America, after all, is an empire. That's what empires do. We have strategic interests in the region. Biden did the same thing in Ukraine. Before that, we did it in Afghanistan. We did it in Libya. We did it in Syria, which, in my opinion, had no net positive impact at all. At least this time it's in Venezuela. It's our own sphere of influence. Representative Maria Salazar yesterday explaining the real reason, she says, This is happening. Watch.
This is not going to be hard. 80% of the Venezuelans voted for the opposition. You have 8 million Venezuelans in exile. We're talking about the largest reserves of oil in the world that will be doing business with the American oil companies. And that is something that I have made very sure that they understand. American companies in Venezuela for the next 100 years.
All right, well, you heard it.
We'll keep you posted on this because something is about to happen vis-a-vis Venezuela. President Trump freezing all asylum decisions following the shooting of 2 National Guard members in D.C. last week. The asylum freeze taking effect immediately and indefinitely. Trump speaking about this on Air Force One, confirming the only thing that can fix this mess our country is in is reverse migration, which is where all people or groups who immigrated here under Joe Biden return to their original place of origin. No more targeted deportations, no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more placating to the moderates and the leftists and walking the fine line where ICE can only deport the worst of the worst criminal aliens. No, everybody who entered illegally must go.
You gotta go. You gotta go, bro. It's just what it is. And that's the best thing. And, Trump needs to, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The Republican Party need to grow a backbone, bro. I don't know why they keep playing so nice with these people when they're not doing the same, bro. You gotta fight fire with fire. For some reason, like, these people just keep slipping these prosecutions, cases getting dismissed, everything from the terrorists to, immigration, everything that Trump is trying to do to better the country, the Democrats are right there to try to step in to hurt the country. And I just don't see, that's why it makes me mad, because people aren't seeing the play. Listen, bro, the government gonna be here when I'm gone, when you gone. The government ain't going nowhere, period. The only thing that we can do as the people is make the government smaller so it could be more effective for the people. That's what it was made for. This is why we vote people in. But instead, we keep voting these people in who are taking advantage of the system, making the system more difficult, and is doing nothing but hurting us. We keep paying for wars, all of these foreign projects. They keep, bro. We gotta get and this is why I voted for Trump, and this is why I respect Trump, because he's saying the quiet part out loud. He's letting you know, listen, there's massive corruption, there's massive fraud going on. They have made people hate Trump so much though that people just disregard it as if it's just misinformation, even though they're showing the receipts. They're showing you that this stuff is real. Just like in Minnesota, for instance, all the fraud that's going on out there, right? That's just in Minnesota. Even the leadership in Minnesota came out and said, and we'll get into that tomorrow, that Tim Walz knew about this, that he was trying to cover it up. So this is what I mean. These politicians, especially these Democrats, a lot of them, bro, they're all slick. And Republicans too, they in there too. You know what I mean? And that's the hard part about all of this, that we have given so much power to the government to the point where it's like, it's just, bro, they just doing anything they want, bro.
The new policy. And on top of that,
legal
migration to the U.S. hereby paused, frozen, starting with asylum. Watch.
Plan to pause asylum into the U.S.
I think a long time.
Can you give any kind of time? What's a long time?
We don't want those people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit.
And then,
but it could be a long time.
You said that
we don't want those people. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Do you understand it?
I understand.
Who are you with?
But listen, do you understand? We don't want these people. We don't want these types of people. That you got to deal with all of this scamming and killing and all of this stuff that's going on, bro. The role of the president, the role of police, and the role of the military is to protect Americans. So if you put leadership in office who is telling the military, the police, and judges, and all of these people who are supposed to protect America to disregard what you're supposed to do, what you took the oath to do, bro, that's treason in itself. And that's exactly what Joe Biden's administration did. You got these people on the border who's supposed to protect the border who had to be like, they still got to get a paycheck. It's common sense.
I'm with News Nation, sir.
Okay,
My name's Libby
Nation,
D.
News Nation, great. Let me just tell you something. We don't want those people. Does that make sense? You know why we don't want them? Because many of them are no good, and they shouldn't be in our country.
What do you mean by those people? Can you clarify?
I was trying to make
Different
something
countries that are not friendly to us, and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them.
How many countries, roughly, would you put on that list?
She said how many?
Yeah, how many countries, yeah? Would you put on that list?
All
I
of
guess
them.
we gave you 19, right? There's probably more than that.
Is that what you mean when you mean third world countries, those 19?
No, I don't think they're all third world, but in many cases they are third world. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about denaturalization,
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother.
Trump boasting.
Yo, Trump not playing with them, bro. But he right, though. Listen, what they're going to do on legacy media is they're going to spin this and make it racial. Oh, he doesn't want brown and black people into this country. Bro, fuck out of here, man. Bro, it's simple. You just don't need, first of all, we don't need any more immigrants, period, coming into the country right now. That's for sure. But there are many people here that are causing problems. Yeah, you can sit there and talk about the people that are here and they're working and they want to live the American dream, but they should have came here the right way like every other immigrant that came into this country the right way. Period. It's just simple, bro. They don't do this in no other countries, bro. Only in America. Only in America, bro. It's just crazy. And of course, like I said, they're going to make everything racial. Oh, he's a racist. He's a Nazi. They've been calling Trump a racist, a Nazi, a white supremacist, all of this shit that ain't true for years. For years. And everybody, oh, it's true. How? How's he a racist? Oh, the Central Park 5. Man, shut the fuck up. You sound stupid, goofy. Oh, his dad wasn't renting apartments to black people in the 80s. You can't make this shit up, bro. You can't make it up.
This chart on Truth Social yesterday showing the share of foreign-born people embedded in the U.S. population today higher than any point in U.S. history, and not by a little, by a lot, even greater, even higher than the great wave of immigration in the early 20th century. 1 in 6 people living in the U.S. today are foreign-born. That's the highest share ever. That's 53 million people. That's a lot of people.
God
53
damn.
million extra people for Americans to compete with. Compete on buying homes, on finding jobs, and half of them, more than half, 53% of foreign-born households use at least one welfare-type program. Programs paid for by American tax dollars. Elon Musk posting this clip of Stephen Miller explaining the scheme that let all of these people in. Elon saying, this is what happened. All of it is true. Watch.
It for your audience perfectly, Sean. This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along.
That's
to
all
get
it was
them
about.
here illegally so they can...
Hold on, I'm going to let him finish, bro. But just think about this. They did all of this for votes, bro. To stay in power. For power. I ain't going to say it's for power. Crazy, bro.
Get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again.
Trump doubling down on this reverse migration policy.
Yo, bro, they had a was that yo, I gotta rewind that. Did they have a tractor lifting the fence up? Yo, bro.
For felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back.
Look at this. Look. They got some type of, I forget what them Jones is called, lifting this fence up. Yo, bro.
Into the cities to offend and offend again.
Trump doubling down on this reverse migration policy.
And the sad part is, bro, is that there's probably a lot of good, immigrants that came here with hopes of, just living. They don't mind working. They want to work. They want to, live the American dream and be able to. It's not wrong with people sending money back home to their countries and things like that. It's not wrong with that when you're doing it the right way. I know people who does that. And I mean, they work, they send money back home and stuff like that to support their families. It's not wrong with that. That's cool. You know what I mean? But when you're coming here and you don't even know who's coming here, you haven't vetted them, it's a national security risk. And even outside of that, bro, you can't sustain that. The country is already in debt. It was in debt in 2020 when Joe Biden got in. And then you let all of these people in here getting free housing, free food, free welfare, free everything, free healthcare. It's not sustainable. And this is the reason why everything is high. It's high. And somehow, some way, they convince you to hate Donald Trump so much that even though it's no way that you don't know. It's just common sense. And that from 2020 to 2024, prices skyrocketed under Joe Biden. And they're slowly coming down, but it's still high. It's still high, bro. Rent, ridiculous. All of this stuff is ridiculous. And all because of Joe Biden. But what they do, manipulated you so much. You're so much of a slave to politics and a party that they convinced you that it's Donald Trump's fault. It's crazy.
After 2 National Guardsmen were shot in D.C. last week, shot by an Afghan national who was brought here after the withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Then a second Afghan national
hit that like button, hit the
arrested
subscribe
as
button if
well,
you're not
trying to
subscribed.
bomb the Texas
Appreciate you
Fort
for
Worth
locking in
area.
with me.
Well, this just in. We have a Fox News alert from Brooke Taylor. You won't believe this. DHS is confirming that an Afghan national was arrested Tuesday after posting a video of himself on TikTok indicating he was building a bomb with an intended target of the Fort Worth area. Mohammed Dawood Al-Okazai is charged at the state level with making a terroristic threat. According to DHS, listen to this. He came to the United States as part of Operation Allies Welcome. So here you have it. This happened Tuesday. Texas Department of Public Safety. This is a second Afghan national, second one this week. Operation Allies Welcome. He had a terror plot. We know it comes the same week that deranged individual, that alleged assassin, took out 2 of our heroic National Guard, came here on the same program, Operation Allies Welcome, a program that we were assured time and time again by Mayorkas, by Jen Psaki, by Joe Biden himself was safe and secure. But here we have a second data point in 1 week that it was not safe. It was not secure.
Facts.
And we've got to look very hard at this program as President Trump is vowing to make change.
Who the hell are these people? Why are they in our country?
Bro.
Both Afghan men entering the same way under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome. Allies Welcome. What does that mean exactly? These 90,000 Afghan nationals that Biden let in, they weren't normal refugees, folks. They were Afghanis who decided to help the U.S. during the war, who basically turned on their own country to help us,
which is crazy.
Working as translators, as spies for our military, for CIA. That's who they are. And what do you know? They come here and they turn on us. Big surprise. U.S.
Yeah, it's not a surprise, man. Shout out to RJTalksTv, man. As usual, we about to get into this next story, bro. This joint is crazy right here, bro. And, you know, I always bring the latest and the greatest. Yo, living in wicked, we just living in a wicked time, bro. It's a wicked time to be in the world. It's crazy, bro. But anyway, we're going to this next story about, you know, this whole COVID stuff. A lot of information coming out about this. I'm a big skeptic. I didn't get my kids vaccinated. I don't trust it. My kids are perfectly healthy, fine, eating like big boys. You know what I mean? Like they good. You know what I mean? They be lying, bro. I don't trust these people. I don't trust these people, bro. I just don't, bro. Look at what they doing to the food. Look, you know, just so many different things that they're doing. And it's like crazy to me. I just like damn, like, we always hate America that much. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers love money that much. It's crazy, bro. Like, a lot of this stuff just doesn't go on in other countries, bro. It's sad, man. But anyway, let's get into this next story with my guy, Brian Maxwell, about the Jabademic, man. They, you know what I mean? They was hitting everybody with the jab. I'm going to keep it real, bro. I was in prison. I got the jab. You heard? You know what I mean? Motherfuckers was getting sick. You know what I mean? I was locked up. I was in the county at the time. And I was like, I went downstate. I was skeptical about it. You know what I mean? Just because I be knowing how shit be, you know what I mean? I'm like, but I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to come home and affect my family and stuff. So kind of got manipulated into it a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, but you know, I was in prison. I was close vicinity with mad people. So, you know, whatever. I'm fine. I'm good, you know, unfortunately. But it's a lot of people that weren't good. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out on this stuff. So I figured, you know, we're going to put it out there for the people to know.
This story that just dropped that's coming out of the FDA, it impacts, it affects, and it should be alarming to every single person in this country, and not only in this country, but around the world. This is one of those instances where this isn't just an American problem. This is literally a global problem, and it's happening everywhere around the country. And as you see by this article, the FDA communication says data showed that at least 10 children, 10 have lost their lives due to the jab. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you footage from one of the biggest defenders of Americans from the jab, where I thought that this man's life was going to be taken. I mean, from the jump, he was one of the loudest voices in the medical community as far as for preaching against the jabs and the dangers. And they shut him up. They shut him down. But he's still alive, and he's back with a vengeance after the COVID reports came out. The pandemic papers, what they call them. And man, the doggone studies that came out of that, out of the amount of people who lost their lives, the amount of people who cancer came back, the amount of people who have tremendous heart problems, squid-sized blood clots, not to mention the babies who were affected. So let's roll with this. And in this video, the clips I'm going to show you, they're so important. They're so eye-opening that I'm going to play those on full screen rather than how I kind of split the screen. So if you've ever watched any other video of mine, I highly suggest this be the one. If you haven't made it to the end of anything else, make it to the end of this. It's so important that I won't have anything to say. I'll just let the doctor speak and reveal factual evidence that has come out. And I got to say, I'm proud to say that I never took it. My children never took it. My youngest son is in the military, so I know that they jammed him with it. But my other children have not taken it. My grandchildren did not. Unfortunately, though, my mother, she didn't. She listened. But my father, he's old school. He believed everything that they were saying. He's a hardcore Democrat, and he went and got shots, and he's boosted to the hill. And guess what? My father's cancer had came back, and we didn't understand why. But in this video, you're going to understand why. They actually break down what happened. So as you can see, FDA communications.
Hey, yo, before you start, ain't it so crazy how you can't trust? Yo, you can't even go to the doctors, bro, and trust that these people are actually trying to help you, bro, in America anymore, bro. It's crazy. Like, and another thing is that the way that, propaganda works and how these people get on these news stations and just report anything for a check, and they know that it's lies and it's bullshit. So it's so much information that came out about this, but it's not even just about this is major, but at the same time, there's so much other things that are going on in America with the food, with these vaccines, with abortions, with so much stuff that's hurting the country, and it all has to do with population control, with just money, of course, the biggest one of all, and power. It's crazy, bro. It's actually sick.
It says data show 10 children lives lost due to the jab. I'm only going to read a little bit of the article. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Marty McCurry said on Saturday that data showed 10 children had lost their lives due to the pandemic jabs. There were, it appears, 10 lives lost of children from the pandemic shots. Now, the reason why I'm changing up words because the algorithm still doesn't like people that are talking out against it, and they'll, affect your video being able to be shown. So just so you know, that's why I'm doing it. Now, this data that was accumulated during the Biden administration, we're going to make that information available that those cases were reviewed, he told Fox News in an interview. The New York Times earlier reported that an internal FDA memo concluded that at least 10 little people, 10 children, had likely passed away due to those jabs with myocarditis or heart inflammation cited as possible cause. What do children with heart issues? That many? But let me not, delay anymore. Now, check this out. FDA to raise hurdles for jabs, faulting pandemic shots for 10 children losing their lives. And as you can see right here, failure to warn how federal health agencies downplayed risk of myocarditis and other adverse events following the pandemic jabs. Now, this man right here, this is Dr. Peter McCullough. This is who I was speaking about. He has been he's one of the most respected heart doctors, cardiologists in the country, but he was one of the biggest and the loudest voices that have been screaming from the rooftops this entire time. As a matter of fact, let me show you how effective he is and let you look at what they put in Wikipedia for him. And whatever the Democrats think is bad is actually good. So Peter McCullough, Peter Andrew McCullough, born December 1962, is an American former cardiologist. He's still that. He was vice chief of internal medicine at Baylor University Medical Center and a professor at Texas A&M University. From the beginnings of the pandemic, McCullough has promoted misinformation and conspiracy theories about the pandemic, its treatments, and RNA vaccines.
Yo, I've seen doctors on TikTok and other social media accounts where they was like devastated that they was dealing with these type of things and how they knew that they were a part of this whole situation. You know what I mean? Yo, I took my son to go in for his first doctor's appointment, and the lady, I knew it was gonna come. You know what I mean? It always does. And she's like, are you going to do any vaccination? I forget how she said it, but she brought up the vaccinations. And I said, nah, we're not doing vaccinations. And her whole demeanor changed, bro. I wish my wife is down here because she'll tell you, because we talked about it in the car. Her whole demeanor changed. Like she went from being like, why? I'm like, we just not doing it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't got to get into it. I got my reasons, but we just not doing it. And her whole just changed. Like, she went from being very nice to just being like, you know why? Because I fucked the bag up for her. You heard? Because they get paid. They get incentives for getting kids fully vaccinated. So when you get somebody like me who come in there and be like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? And or even if I be like, because, I don't believe every vaccine is bad. Believe some of them are actually good or beneficial, right? So, but if you don't get them fully vaccinated, they don't get these incentives. I mean, so that's why when you when you go, bro, I've dealt with it. Me and my wife have a great relationship. I lead in the relationship. When we are at the hospitals, I'm saying this is what it is. And they do not like that. Every single time, she in the comments. Every time we was in the hospital, we had a baby back to back. We had babies back to back. Every time they be like, well, Mom, what do you think? Well, I already told you what it is. They don't like that. This is why they push for single motherhood and things like that. Because they know women are more agreeable. They might not have the information. Some do. I'm not saying all. I'm just telling you, they don't like that, bro. They hate it so much. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like this. I went to the doctor. I said this before. I went there one time and they wanted to give my wife a vaccine. And I said, for what? This lady could not tell me what it was for. Like, what? Bro, we're good, bro. You're tripping. Like, this stuff is crazy, bro. You can't even make some of this stuff up, man.
Now,
for real.
Just so you know, and you can already tell, this was written and dated during the Biden administration when they put this Wikipedia in for him. Because he didn't have one. This isn't one that he did himself. This is one that they did for him. But you know
write that about
how they
themselves.
say specifically, go look at anybody else's Wikipedia. And you ever tell me when they ever point out, oh, they do misinformation and disinformation in their Wikipedia page? They don't. But this is a smear campaign. That's how effective and how much of a thorn this man has been in their side. And now it's vindication, baby, but he's really telling it all. They had this man blacklisted. They had his social media sites blocked, shadow banned. It was crazy. All because of this information that you're about to hear from him right now. Now, this clip is a little long, but please watch it. If we'll sit up and we'll watch music videos, if we'll watch sporting events, if people watch Real Housewives and other shows that don't give you any information that can save your life or save your family's life, if we got time for that, please take the time to watch this, because this can save not only your life, but your children, your grandchildren, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, people who you love and care about, your closest friends. So I'm not going to talk too much longer. I'm going to let him get into it. And after this clip, we got another clip from Dr. Mccullough where he goes more in detail with things, and then we're going to close it out with a smaller clip, but it really breaks down exactly why the medical doctors have failed to just admit they were wrong. That's going to be the last clip, but check this one out right here.
Introduced, I'm Dr. Peter Mccullough. I have seen and examined thousands of patients with acute COVID-19 and managed them before the hospital phase of care and helped them successfully avoid hospitalization and death. And now, sadly, I've seen thousands of patients who've suffered injuries, disabilities, and unfortunately death after COVID-19 vaccine. The COVID-19 illness and the vaccine are very similar in that they expose patients to a protein on the surface of the virus, the spicule, if you will, or the spine on the surface of the virus called the spike protein. The spike protein was intentionally engineered in a Chinese biosecurity lab in Wuhan, China.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or for a donation. You hitting that like button, it helps enough getting the channel out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues notifying, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new video.
The spike protein is not a natural protein. It's been modified by mankind in a joint U.S.-Chinese collaboration that took years to create SARS-CoV-2. It's now fully acknowledged through the House Select Coronavirus Investigative Committee in Washington that SARS-CoV-2 was created in the Chinese biosecurity lab in Wuhan, China. And there are co-conspirators in the creation of this virus, and it's now well acknowledged that they include Dr. Anthony Fauci of the National Allergy Immunology Branch, Dr. Ralph Barrick at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Peter Daszak at the EcoHealth Alliance, who helped coordinate it all.
Bro, understand what he's saying, bro. He's sitting there saying that these Chinese and Americans basically came together on this. This was made, bro. This was planned. That's why he's calling it a plandemic. Like, this is why I say, bro, they knew about this, but they knew this was going to happen. They planned it. They put it out there. They did not care. These people, this is why I always say, bro, they do not give a fuck about you. They just don't. They don't care. They'll do any and everything to obtain power, money, whatever. They don't care, bro, because they don't have to deal with these things. You do. You know, all of these children that are all of a sudden getting autism, they don't have to deal with your children. You do. You know, and it's messed up. You know what I mean? Like like perfectly healthy people are having autistic children because of things that they're doing to the food, these vaccines that you're taking, thinking that they're helping you, that they're benefiting you, that you're keeping, that you're keeping your family safe. And then on top of that, they make it, how is it mandatory for you to take anything for that matter? You're grown, your children are your children, but they make it mandatory for your children to get vaccinated in order to go to school. Come on, bro. When they play on the whole safety, children, they need to be safe and all. It's all bull crap, bro. They have already did studies proving that children that are unvaccinated are outperforming children that are vaccinated.
And Dr. Xingling Li, the lead researcher in the Wuhan lab, because the spike protein gets in the human body with the infection and in a massive dose with the vaccine, that's the reason why people feel sick afterwards after having COVID-19. We call that long COVID. Well, people feel sick after the vaccine even more so because they even have a massive dose of the spike protein in the human body. And a recent study from Germany by Brogna and colleagues has found that the spike protein is physically circulating in the blood of those who've been vaccinated, at least half of them, for 6 months or more. The messenger RNA has been modified intentionally to be long-lasting in the body. That's Pfizer and Moderna. And because so, the messenger RNA is circulating in the bloodstream for at least a month, found in lymph nodes for several months. So people who keep taking the vaccines keep building up more and more messenger RNA and more spike protein. There are over 4,000 peer-reviewed papers in the medical literature now, which is heavily suppressed by editors and by sponsors and institutions who don't want this information to come out, but there's still 4,000. And the 4,000 show, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, that about 70% of long COVID, as we know it, is actually caused by pre-vaccination or vaccination before or after the illness. The literature
So basically, you getting the booster shots and things like that is actually making it worse.
Demonstrates that 4 major areas of damage to the human body are occurring. To the heart, myocarditis, an acceleration of cardiovascular disease, arrhythmias, and cardiac arrest. And yes, the unexplained cardiac arrests that you see out there are due to COVID-19 vaccination, unless it can be completely proven that the patient didn't take the vaccine. Neurologic, both ischemic and thrombotic stroke, Guillain-Barré syndrome, paralysis, small fiber neuropathy, seizures, hearing loss, vision loss. A condition called POTS, posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where patients become very unsteady and pass out. Yes, those reels of all these media people passing out on TV, that's largely POTS. The third area is blood clots, thrombosis, blood clots like we've never seen before. Blood clots that can extend from the ankle to the hip and shoot to the lungs and then are fatal. Blood clots that form in the brain and cause particular forms of stroke called central venous and cavernous venous thrombosis. The FDA agrees to and says the vaccines cause these syndromes, so it's not controversial. And then the fourth area is immunologic. The vaccines actually trigger the production of all different types of proteins besides the spike protein that incite autoimmunity. A fifth area of concern is emerging, but I think it could really be a concern, is that the vaccines could cause cancer or accelerate cancer or bring people out of remission back to active cancer. All of this has now been fully disclosed in 4 sets of U.S. Senate hearings, at least 3 sets of congressional hearings here in the United States, deliberations in European Parliament and the lower house in England. And to this day, not a single government or regulatory agency will do a safety review of the vaccines, let alone pull them off the market for lack of safety. And as we sit here today, our US CDC VAERS system tells us that there are confirmed by the CDC approximately 18,500 Americans who have died after the vaccine. 1,150 die on the same day they take the shot or in the vaccine center. 1,200 die the next day. It shouldn't have been more than 5, 10, 15, or 50 deaths. It should have been pulled off the market. Yet our CDC is openly telling us that these large numbers of deaths occur in people healthy enough to walk into a pharmacy or a vaccine center. It's grossly underreported, probably 30-1. That means the total number of Americans who likely have passed away of the vaccine is about 550,000. 550,000. Our 2 major presidential candidates are the same on this issue. They are completely, willfully blind to what's happened to Americans. They're focused on other issues outside of the health, the welfare, and actually the survival of their own people. The same is true worldwide. So what we're going to do today is we will do a deep dive on the data, and we'll start with what's happening in the hospital. Because what happened in the hospital and patients dying in the hospital is part of the same continuum of patients dying after the vaccine. It's all the same. It's exposure to the spike protein and then the inadequacy of public health institutions, medical institutions, hospitals, and doctors to respond to this great calamity.
Now on the
yeah, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell. If y'all want to hear the rest of that story, go tap in with Brian Maxwell on YouTube. But yeah, man, I seen somebody else talk about this spike protein thing, and basically what they were kind of concluding was that the virus actually, when you take the vaccine and you get like the booster, for instance, it actually like how do you call it? It like grows. I mean, it's another word for it. I can't think of it off top right now, but it grows or whatever and becomes worsened. You know what I mean? So, bro, it's just so much just garbage, bro. Like, you know, who knows the real truth behind why they even did this whole COVID ordeal? But it was definitely for me, we're going to say allegedly, but I really feel as though it was planned. It was a planned attack. They did this on purpose, you know, especially when you see videos, and he showed it in there. Like I said, I don't want to, you know, take up his whole video, but I wanted to show that video of the doctor speaking on this because this is a doctor, bro. This is a doctor. With you know, why people like that who are speaking on these types of issues put their lives on the line. You know, people like this end up, you know, committing suicide and stuff like that, allegedly, when they speak out against things like this. So I have no doubt that this guy is giving factual information. Plus, I've heard the same talking points that he's talking about. I've heard others speak on it also. So it's definitely, you know, crazy times in America, man. So much that needs to be done. And I think it's whack when I look out and I see the focus for everybody on things that just don't matter, like Jeffrey Epstein and, you know, like LGBTQ rights, whether men can play in women's sport, all dumb stuff that just don't matter, bro. It's real issues going on in America. Things need to turn around. The main thing that people care about the most, though, bro, is prices going down, being able to work, keep most of their money, being able to go on vacations, you know, live life, and, you know, be able to take care of their families, bro. And that's what it needs to get back to. You know what I mean? Right now, people struggling, hurting, you know, can't save no money. People credit all messed up now, all because of sleepy Joe Biden and his administration. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's the truth. You know, it's things that, you know, with this whole COVID thing, it was unexpected. So I'm not giving Trump a pass on it because, you know, he was right there doing the shit too. You know, putting it out there, take the vaccine, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Putting people in harm's way. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy, bro. I'm gonna be honest, man. That's why I say, bro, people got to stop being slaves to these politicians, to these parties. Wake the fuck up. Things are way more bigger than we can fathom, but there's things that we can actually all come together on and actually change things and stop focusing on racism, dog. I wake up every day and live life the way I want to live it. I'm not worrying about the white man and whether the white man coming to take me down. People crazy, man. But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. If you fuck with this show, make sure you hit that like button. Also, comment down below, share the video. I truly do appreciate everybody for tapping in today. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.